Mine says live.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of In the Ring with King's Promotions. I'm Andrew Foy, joined as always by my esteemed partner and CEO of King's Promotions, Marshall Kauffman. Tonight we have two special guests. Both of these fighters are part of the King's Promotion stable of young prospects who have big fights on the horizon. So the first fellow I'd like to introduce was born in Texas, currently lives in Arkansas. He is a super middleweight. He's 29 years old. He has a record of 12-0-1. People in this part of the country might know him from his fight with Brandon Robinson, which won a Briscoe Award for Fight of the Year in Philadelphia for 2018. He was very impressive in that fight and won by 7th round TKO. So this is Kalvin Henderson. Our other guest tonight was born in Puerto Rico, currently lives in Las Vegas, Nevada. He was signed to King's Promotions in the fall of 2019 and made his debut with us in Harrisburg this December, where he looked extremely impressive in the co-main event. He had a dominating performance against a veteran contender in Jonathan Perez. He won by 2nd round stoppage. He is 16-0 with 15 knockouts, and that is Carlos Vidal. Hey, guys.
What's going on?
Start us off.
Oh, good. Feeling good. Happy to be here with you guys. Thank you for the invitation.
Good. What's going on, Kalvin? I can't hear you, Kalvin. Did you mute your mic? You might have muted your mic, Kalvin. Yeah, your mic is muted. There you go. Now talk. No, we were still not getting any sound from you, Kalvin.
Got a microphone virus.
Yeah.
You know what? While he's establishing his connection here, it looks like he should have sound. He's not muted on my end, but can you talk, Kalvin? No, still nothing.
Nothing at all.
Carlos, why don't we start while he establishes the connection here? What have you been doing in your time off?
Well, boxing-wise, I've been watching videos, studying, and training in my house. That's what I'm doing. I have a private gym too with my manager, so I'm going to the gym every time no one's there, and I'll still training. It's like coronavirus didn't hit me, so I'm still doing my thing. No trainer though, but I'm still doing my thing.
Staying in shape.
Yes, sir. Staying in shape. Today I just ran like 6 miles, so I'm just running every day, training. Not for a fight, but just staying in shape.
Correct. That's all you can do at this time. It's a tough time. No one knows when we're going to get started again, and I think a lot of it depends on what area you live in. Are you in? Where are you at right now? In Mississippi?
Right now, I'm in Mississippi right now.
Right. Okay. How is it down there? Is it is it pretty bad?
Yeah, the area I'm living right now is not that bad. It's DeSoto
Okay,
County, they call it. It's very, very low cases here, so it's pretty good.
good,
People is
good. That's
behaving.
yeah, no, that's good. That's good. The yeah, no, it's tough. It's real, and you have to stay safe.
Yes,
And
sir.
it's good that you're staying in shape. I mean, I know that's just how you are in general.
I'm
You live it
yeah, I'm
every
a gym
day.
rat. Yeah, I'm always
Yeah, no,
training.
that's a good thing. That's why you can make 126 and be so big.
Yes, sir.
You're extremely big for 126.
Always staying in shape and getting ready because we don't know when this is over and I get the call. I don't want to say, no, give me 2 months or give me 3 months. I want to say, let's go. So
That's
that's why
right.
I'm
Because
staying in shape.
and the way everybody's talking is that people have to be ready. It might be 4 weeks. It might be 5 weeks. And I know for yourself, you were training. You were getting ready for a fight in
Yes,
April.
sir. It was
You were
supposed to be
getting ready.
today.
Yeah. Today's the date. Wow.
Yeah, it was supposed to be today.
So you were training for your first title fight, and things were looking very good. We talked about this last week, and I was excited about it. It was supposed to be in Dallas, Texas. Yeah,
Yes,
and
sir.
so, but hey, look, those opportunities will come again. You just have to stay ready, and I know you will be. I know you're excited, and I'm looking forward to you getting back in the ring very soon.
Yes, I was getting ready for that fight, and I was in Puerto Rico, with Ivan Calderon. Everything was looking good, but things happened. But hey,
Speaking of Ivan, how was that going? That was a new trainer you started working with. How was that going with Ivan?
he was my trainer before when I was in
Okay.
Puerto Rico. We trained before, and I really like the chemistry we have in the gym. And there's a lot of good sparrings over there. I can say there's even better, more sparring than Las Vegas, because Las Vegas there's good sparring. I was sparring with Jesse Magdaleno, Shakur Stevenson, but it was like once in a while, not like we can make appointments and we be sparring like every week, like in Puerto Rico. In Puerto Rico, there's a really good fighters, 2-time Olympians that I was sparring, so I was getting good work too.
That's great. That's great. Hey, Kalvin, are you back with us?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you
Yes.
now. Good.
Let's get it.
I thought I was getting ready to say, I hope that eye's well, man, because maybe you're just not hitting the right button.
Yeah, look at that, man. Yeah, we back like the light bill, man.
No, that's good. That's good. It's good to see you, man.
Man, it's good to be here, man. Good to smile. Good to see all 4 of you, all 3 of y'all, man. That's a good thing to be able to see. The doctor was kind of nervous about that first, but it all turned out really good. Thank you.
All right, it's all good. Andrew, you want to get started with something here?
Yeah, well, we can do trivia. We can do it now. We can do it later in the show, just for the people watching. We are doing another trivia contest between Kalvin and Carlos. Kalvin was writing in during the last trivia contest. He wanted to challenge Mike Fox. So,
Oh, yeah, man. I would have Mike, man. I knew all them answers, man. I knew him before. Mike knew him too, man.
I don't know, Mike. Mike knew him pretty well. Mike did well with that,
We know Mike. What Mike didn't know, though, he didn't know about David Tua. That's off the real, man. David Tua is the only way heavyweight that hits so hard as then with a world champion. Come on, man.
Yeah, but sometimes when you're the professor, some things just go over your head,
Just send him the prize.
Yeah, man. This is the prize, man.
Speaking, before we go into the quiz, we just talked to Carlos about he was actually he was scheduled to fight today,
Yes.
and he was fighting for his first title fight. It was going to be in Dallas, Texas. Great opportunity, and unfortunately, because the COVID-19 hit, that set everybody back. You, on the other hand, you were supposed to fight in February on a card in Las Vegas.
Correct.
Training. We were like, I think 2 weeks out from the fight,
Yes, sir.
and you went to get an eye test. Why don't you? I'll let you tell the people what led up to that.
Okay. So once again, it was a huge opportunity to fight on Showtime, on Showbox in Las Vegas, and I've been keeping an eye out on Kevin Newman for a long time now, and so I knew of his name. And like I said, I'm coming off the draw in December back in Philly. I feel like this is a huge opportunity for us to take advantage of us to showcase our skill sets to the world. And so we was going through training like good. Training camp was going amazing. I was only like 6-7 pounds away from making weight. Still had 3 weeks left. I was going through all my pre-fight physicals like you always do every fight. But as you know, Nevada, they're a stricter commission. And so they required that I went to an ophthalmologist instead of optometrist. And so before then, I had no idea if the difference between the two.
You got mail.
So I went to the ophthalmologist, and the first thing he saw was I had cataracts. And he was like, "Oh, don't worry about that. You got to get those fixed down the road, but right now you can still fight with them." And when he went back in and looked deeper into my right eye, that's when he seen the detached retina towards the bottom part of it. He told me he could tell it was an old detachment. It wasn't anything that happened recently, but he told me that I was literally one punch away from being blind the rest of my life. So it's kind of weird how they caught it when they did. It sucks because the opportunity we had on the table, that was a really good opportunity, but then also I can still see with both eyes. And so it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I was just going to say that it was a blessing in disguise. And in reality, this COVID-19 and this time off probably also was something that played in your favor.
Correct.
Because of it gives you that time to recuperate. Where other boxers like Carlos was ready to fight, they're in shape, they didn't have the injury. For you, it gives you that time. So
which is kind of selfish on my part. I'm sorry, Carlos, man. I know it's a silver lining, but I'm resting because my injuries. Everybody else resting because my injury too, man. It's like the whole boxing world been put on pause, man.
Right, exactly. Speaking of, how is your eye?
It's doing really well, man. Man, we Kevin and I, we actually started. This is my coach training, Kevin, right here. We actually started back training, like doing mids and doing some defensive stuff about 2 weeks ago, and man, it's going great. And you can ask him, man. I'm seeing all the punches he's throwing. I'm dipping, I'm slipping, catching shots, and so it's going well, man. Still no contact yet, still no sparring yet, but I've been freed and cleared to get back to all types of training except for contact. And so everything's going great.
Right. Did they give you a time frame on when
they told me 6 months from surgery, so we already 2 months in, so we only got 4 months left before I can get back into the ring.
Okay. All right. Good. We're looking forward to you getting back in the ring too.
Sure, thank you.
Kalvin, I wanted to ask you, I mean, it has to be tough, you know, watching the fight that you were supposed to be in, you know, it's on Showtime, and the fighter who you just fought with, you know, steps in and wins the fight. How did you feel, you know, and don't give me the politically correct version. I mean, how do you feel as a fighter watching that?
Oh, no, you got to get the real, man. You better get the kid girls going on.
I mean, were you happy for Gents to win because, you know, you did have a draw with them? Does it validate the fight that you had with them, or what was going through your mind and heart as you're watching that?
So the thing about Polana, let's go back, man. When you fight this guy, a lot of cats don't understand how awkward he is until you in the ring with him. And before the fight, my man, can't think of his name. I'm drawing a blank right now. He's one of your favorite fighters right now. He fought Tyrone Brunson. He fought Polana, and Polana, his last, I can't remember his name right now. What's his name?
Jamal Davis?
He's not
Jamal. Yeah, Jamal came to my dressing room before we went out, and he was like, "Say, man, look, Sauce, he's mad awkward. He throw punches at weird angles. But of course, you know, I'm in the zone, so I'm thinking, like, okay, I'm using my jab in position. But it's hard to explain unless you're in there, man. Like, you know, I got really good jab, I got really good footwork, really good head movement. But some guys are just awkward. So I knew when Kevin Newman took that fight against him with 2 weeks' notice, he was in trouble. And so he was in trouble fighting us already. But then he fought this guy, awkward guy, he didn't have any camp, any preparation for it in 2 weeks' notice. He shot himself in the head on that one. But it was difficult, man. But to be honest with you, as my trainer, we were watching the fight together, and I was actually excited about the match because it proved my point even more, that this guy is awkward, is unorthodox, is hard to beat. And it's showing it just was to me and how Sauce had an off night. It's just this guy's like that.
First of all,
Yeah, so
I don't think we lost the fight. So I'll go back and check it out. So.
yeah, you know, it's funny. So you're mentioning Jamal. So Jamal is a good friend of mine. He retired after that fight with Jens Plana, but he kind of got stuck into it on late notice.
16/15.
His fighter had pulled out a couple weeks earlier, and you know, really nobody had the blueprint on this guy. And I think finally now, maybe the fight on television, some people will, I don't know. I mean, he is such an awkward fighter. You can't prepare somebody for it unless they're actually in the ring with him.
Correct. That's what I was telling my trainer. Like, it's hard to find sparring partners that spars like this guy. You know what I mean? Like, you can get all the awkward people you want, but then they don't have his chin or they don't have his conditioning. And so it's hard to find guys that throw punches at weird angles like that. But you're 100% right.
You know which fight we made, Kalvin?
What's that?
And it was scheduled for May 1st. Brandon Robinson against.
Man, I heard about that, man. That's gonna be a barn burner, man. I heard about that.
Yeah. So we were looking forward to that, of course. But you know what you have to like about Polana, he is awkward.
Correct.
And he's confident. You heard him talk about how he felt like he would beat Roy Jones in his prime. You know what I mean?
I heard him say that.
But hey, look, it's great, and for you, the fact that he won, it wasn't bad for you. You
Correct.
know, should he have lost, it sort of dampers your ranking in a sense. But the fact that he won, it makes it even better. You know.
Sir. Agreed.
So no, it's all good. You know.
Yes, sir.
And what else you got there, Andrew?
You know, I mean, at this point, I'm ready. You know, I think we should do the quiz, lead into some conversations that follow.
I don't know. These guys, they talk a lot of junk. I don't know who's going to win this quiz, though. You know, and
I won.
Kalvin, listen. The coach helps you in a fight. He can't help you in this quiz.
Oh, it's cool, man. It's
Watch
cool.
what I do. I'm gonna be like,
You don't know I got an earpiece in right now. He keeping the answers in my ear.
Look, Carlos is on his own.
That
He's
sounds like a personal
quarantined
problem,
in that
man.
room.
he got a computer in front of him.
You don't need to know all the answers. You need to have the phone number. So I'm ready.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
All right, so let me lay it out. And you know, for people that are watching, you know, try to not write in smart ass comments about the questions being too easy. I mean, anybody can use BoxRec and make a question impossible if they want to. That's not really the point of this.
And please don't answer.
Yes, please don't answer as well. But guys, so you get 30 seconds. Each question is going to be directed to you individually. So it's not a question for both of you. All right. And the questions are made so that, you know, they should favor the person that they're being asked to. 30 seconds. The first answer out of your mouth is the answer. And please don't try to, you know, cheat or look it up. I'm expecting a closer contest this week. What do you think, Marshall? Last week was a blowout.
I'm picking Carlos to win.
It's
Okay.
okay.
All right?
You know what's
Only
crazy?
because-
We both undefeated.
Look,
Somebody gonna take an L, Carlos.
Only because Calvin got his coach behind him.
If I walk out of the screen, then y'all gonna think I'm cheating. I'm gonna stay quiet.
Oh wow. Or next man.
Marshall, did his coach look like Evander Holyfield to you?
Yes.
Hey, he boxes like him too, man. Them uppercuts, nasty.
All right. So,
Hey, before we go on to that, one last thing. Calvin, you had fans in Vegas that still came to Vegas because they were planning on you fighting.
Yes,
Just wanted to
sir.
tell
I'm
you
telling
that.
you, man, it's a movement out here, man. I'm trying to tell you, Mark. We talked about this, man. It's a whole movement out here, man.
All right. Well, we're gonna get that back. So in the
Yes, sir.
meantime, let's see if you can win this quiz.
All right.
All right.
all right. So the first question is a two-part question, and they both go to Calvin. All right. So Calvin, Jermaine Taylor is from Arkansas. He became the undisputed middleweight champion of the world by defeating Bernard Hopkins by split decision. He then went on to decisively beat Hopkins in the rematch. Following his 2 fights with Hopkins, he then fought to a draw with this fighter. And hint, this fighter went on to fight Bernard Hopkins the following year and lost by unanimous decision.
Oh, this is easy, man. Can I answer now?
Yes.
Winky right, baby.
All right.
Good one. Good one.
Good one.
Oh, got me with that one.
That was good.
You guys know
All
I
right.
trained Jermaine in amateurs.
We know all about Jermaine.
Oh, okay.
All right, Calvin, here's the second part. I think you're going to get it since you got the first one so easy. But prior to moving up to middleweight, where he would eventually challenge Jermaine Taylor for the world title, Winky Wright was a unified world champion in the 154-pound division. He unified the 154-pound title with a victory over this fighter, and he would beat him again in the rematch. Hint, the fighter he beat to become a unified champ at 154 was recently inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame. He is a member of the class of 2020.
Man,
It's okay if you
lagging,
can't get
man,
it.
but
If you can't get it, Carlos could get it and get extra points.
I think I got this one, man.
It was lagging.
It was lagging.
It was
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
That's lagging again, man. I'm gonna try to guess off the stuff I heard from you. 154. I'm gonna say Oxy De La Hoya, man. I don't know.
And that's wrong. It was Shane Mosley.
Can you hear me? Aye, man.
I knew it.
Winky Wright never fought Oscar De La Hoya. All right,
Okay.
so you got 1 point. Carlos, these next two questions are for you. So following his famous fight with Oscar De La Hoya, Felix Trinidad moved up in weight and defeated this fighter. It was only this fighter's 15th pro fight. And when Trinidad won that fight, he became a junior middleweight world champion. For the fighter he beat. And a hint here is this fighter won a gold medal at the 1996 Olympic Games. And it's been speculated that his career was rushed as a pro because of an eye injury that limited his shelf life as a boxer. Who's that?
If I tell you something, you're gonna laugh. I was with him in the gym and I forgot his name. I know he lives in Vegas and he trains in Vegas. He has a gym in Vegas. He's Mexican, but I forgot the name.
I know that one.
All right,
He
so
was a 1996 Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah, I know who he is. I know who he is, but
I'm going to tell you, you're thinking of the wrong person.
oh, okay.
Yeah, he's not Mexican.
Okay, so it's not this guy. We just find you right now. Let me see. That's my boy Tito Trinidad, man. How can I not know that?
Come on, Andrew. It's 30 seconds, man. You came with
All right, I think you're right. All right, so that the correct answer is David Reed.
David Reed.
David, the Dream Reed.
No, that name wasn't in my head.
All right, the second follow-up question to that is, after defeating David Reed to become a junior middleweight world champion, Felix Trinidad went on to unify the 154-pound title by beating another undefeated world champion. Like David Reed, this fighter was a member of the 1996 Youth Olympic team. He was also the youngest fighter in history to win a junior middleweight world title at the age of 21.
So that's the one I was thinking. Then,
Hey, Bernard.
Can you remember his name?
oh man, I know who he is. I know I was part with his son all the time, and in the gym. He trains Gabriel Rosado, I think he was training that day.
If we answer it for you, you're gonna be upset. Because I know you know it, I can tell.
Yeah, I know. I was training with him in the gym.
He actually started his own promotional company at one point.
You got 5 seconds. Throw a name out there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right.
Fernando
Vargas.
Fernando Vargas. I was thinking Jesse Vargas. I was like, not Jesse. It's not Jesse Vargas. Shit.
All right. So it's one. It's
Calvin,
one.
you're up yet, 1-0.
Calvin. All right, guys. This is for $100 of Marshall's money. He didn't even respond to that.
50 to whoever give me the answers.
All right, Kalvin. After
Thank-
defeating Fernando Vargas, Felix Trinidad moved up to the middleweight division to participate in a round-robin tournament. This historic event sought to crown an undisputed middleweight champion of the world for the first time since Marvin Hagler, who held the distinction from 1979 to 1987. The tournament included the WBA, WBC, IBF, and Ring Magazine world titles. The WBO was not uniformly recognized as a major world title at that time. Who was the promoter of the tournament?
Oh, that's easy, man. That was Don King.
Very good.
All right.
Don King was mad when Bernard Hopkins won it too.
Yes, he
Very
was.
good.
All right. Carlos. In the first round of the middleweight tournament I mentioned above, who did Felix Trinidad defeat to become the WBA world champion
In the first round?
in the first round of that tournament?
I see them Twitter fingers, man. I see Google over there.
It wasn't the same guy, Fernando Vargas?
No.
In the first round?
No.
Oh, that's my answer. So no.
All right. It was William Joppy. So Kalvin up
Yeah.
2-0.
2-0.
Joppy was from Maryland.
He stopped
All right, Kalvin, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. After losing his middleweight crown to Jermaine Taylor, Bernard Hopkins moved up in weight to become a light heavyweight world champion. Interestingly, Hopkins never campaigned as a super middleweight after making this move. However, he did fight close to the 168-pound limit on 2 occasions. One time was when he fought Winky Wright. The other time is when he fought the lineal middleweight world champion at the time. Who did he fight on that occasion?
Snaps. Is it John Pascal never fought a middleweight, so
No, that's your first answer. All right, it was Kelly Pavlik.
oh my God, I missed that. Man. That's when they beat Jermaine.
Yes, yep.
No pressure. You're still winning 2-0.
All right, Carlos. I'm sticking with Puerto Rican fighters here. So Miguel Cotto was a unified super lightweight world champion. He was undefeated in 7 world title fights in that division. In 2006, he moved up to welterweight and successfully fought for the vacant WBA world title against another undefeated Puerto Rican fighter. Who was that fighter? And here's your hint. This fighter from Puerto Rico would go on to win a world title in the junior middleweight division by defeating Paul Williams.
Quintana.
Now lives in Pennsylvania and still trains fighters.
That's Indio Quintana.
Correct.
Very good. Very good.
I know his history. Okay.
All right. 2-1. It's getting closer. All right, Kalvin. Who is the fighter who shares the record for most super middleweight world title defenses and also fought Bernard Hopkins?
Golly. Boy. Did he beat Bernard?
Can't tell you that.
Can't tell you that.
Boy. Was it Carl Froch?
Nope.
It was Joe Calzaghe. You left
Oh,
the door open here for Carlos to tie, and then we got it. Then we go to a tiebreaker question. All right. So Carlos, name the 2004 Olympian from Puerto Rico who has held world titles in the super bantamweight and featherweight divisions. He has 2 losses in his career to the only man with a win over Vasily Lomachenko.
I want to fight him. Let me tell you that. Juan Manuel Lopez. I wanted to
Correct.
fight him, but he retired. So
Very good, very good. Tie game.
I studied him because I wanted to fight him all my life, but he retired. Be next life, maybe.
All right. So the rules on the tiebreaker question is it's open to both of you, and the first person to say the answer wins. But if you say the wrong answer, you don't get another chance to say the right answer.
Ooh.
All right. So here you go. On our last show, we interviewed Hall of Fame promoter and matchmaker Russell Peltz. Russell promoted many shows at this legendary boxing venue in Philadelphia, which is no longer in use. Name the venue.
Blue Horizon.
We got a winner.
Come on, baby.
Good job.
Come on, don't count me out. Don't count me out, Marshall. Don't count me out.
Hey, you know, let me say something. He weighs more than me, you know? He's heavier. I'm just a featherweight, man.
I just want to thank all my fans, man, for
It
tuning
was
in.
close. It was close.
That was
got very
closer than I
close
thought
there
it was
for a
gonna be.
minute.
Good job.
Good job, Carlos, man.
Good job, man.
Yeah, Blue Horizon, that was good.
You know what's crazy? My first fight in Philly against Brandon Robinson, we went and toured all the historic spots in Philadelphia, and that was one of the places we went to.
You went to the Blue Horizon. Somebody
Okay.
tried
See, you had that advantage over Carlos. He wasn't in Philadelphia.
He said we was in the
Oh, man. That's how it goes, big dog, man.
Right, Carlos? Hey, look, the competition was good. It was down to the wire.
That's good, man. You fought a good fight, man. Remember, you tried. All that matters.
So, hey, look, what can you guys tell us? I mean, if there's anything you've learned from this pandemic and this layoff, what is it that you've learned? You know?
Want to go first, Carlos, or what?
Well, if it's non-boxing, it's like you can't lean on jobs or businesses that are not in the internet. That's what I learned on it. And if it's boxing, I think this is actually a good opportunity for Zone, ESPN, all these brands that has apps and they stream fights, because everything is gonna be streamed now. I believe that after this, a lot of boxing is gonna be like with no fans, on only just little fans on the place, and everyone is gonna be watching in their houses and their phones. And I think they're gonna take advantage of this. And if I would want with the money behind, I would take advantage of it too and make an app or do something.
Right. What did you learn from it, Calvin? We had a freeze, Calvin. You're freezing there. I think your internet froze. Hello.
Yeah, well, you know what? He might, if he cuts out, he can join back in because he has the meeting.
Right. You know, it's you know what you said, Carlos, about we're going to be doing. They're going to start doing shows without fans, and that's going to be the first thing that's going to take place. And what's going to happen is the only ones that are going to be able to financially afford that are those who have the big TV, ESPN, PBC, Matchroom, and Golden Boy, who also has DAZN. They're going to be the only ones that are going to be able to do this early. And so we're probably looking at maybe as early as—
You guys hear me?
late— yeah, you're back. Thanks. Maybe as early as late June, July. So anyway, Calvin, what have you learned from all this, from this pandemic?
It's on you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we hear you.
All right, so you can hear me. Yo, man, the biggest thing I learned from this, man, is kind of coined the term that I've been living my whole career about is that you can't be a part-time boxer, man. You never heard of part-time lawyers, part-time doctors. And so this is something you have to take 24/7. If you do have a fight lined up, if you don't have a fight lined up, you have to stay in the gym, stay on your diet, stay disciplined. And like I said, it's not a part-time job, it's a full-time job, man. A lot of cats don't take it that serious. A lot of cats, they train hard when they have a date coming up or a fight coming up. And as you see, nobody has no fights coming up right now. And so a lot of cats are just sitting around chilling, but we still working, man. That's the biggest thing I learned about this is just no part-time jobs.
Correct. Yeah. Anything you want to add to that, Andrew?
No, I'd like to know, it looks like you're in a gym right now, Calvin. I'm sure there's probably some rules where you're at that don't allow participation right now. Maybe you can do that where you're at, but this is for Calvin and also for Carlos. Has there been anything that you've, Calvin, it looks like you got the phone pointed at your ear lobe.
It
You said one more time?
looks like the phone is pointed towards your ear.
Oh, yeah, I can barely hear you guys through my phone and stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, so this is for both of you guys. Is there anything that you're working on now, an aspect of your fitness that's maybe not boxing related specifically, that you're working on more now than you would if boxing was going along normally and the gyms weren't shut down and whatnot?
For me, push-ups, man. I've been doing push-ups like crazy, and pull-ups, and I'm doing abs. So
Go ahead, Carlos. I'm sorry.
all the things that I don't need equipment, that's all the things I'm doing. I'm like working with my body weight.
One of the things, one of my good friends and buddies, Bernard, he always tells people all the time that running is always free, man. And so going and running, shadow boxing, jumping rope, do a lot of natural body weight stuff. But I'm blessed because I'm also a personal trainer and fitness trainer, so I have access to a gym and go and lift and stuff like that and hit bags. But man, that pavement is always free. Go out there, get your miles in, jump rope, and all that good stuff.
I want to ask you two guys, I know you both have other jobs and you make money outside of boxing. Well, one, Carlos, I'd like you to tell me about your company, True Latino. Give a plug and tell us a little bit about what that is. And are you still operating right now?
Yes. My company is all online, so we work with USPS where they ship the packages. People order online, and I'm focusing more instead of selling, I'm focusing more on helping people to have their own business online. So that's what I'm doing right now. I have like class. I'm all day doing Zooms when I'm not training, teaching people how to use their Facebooks and their social medias and how to, help other people how to get healthier. Because right now with this pandemic, everyone is eating like crazy. People is gaining weight and, health issues come for it. So that's what we're doing. But this month we have an increase like 75% increase in the business. So yeah, it's like crazy. Everything is going down, but here it's going up like crazy. Like everyone is jumping right now. Some people lost their jobs and they're coming to us now, to have a business with us because we don't charge them. We do everything for free because it's commission based. So it really didn't affect it at all. Otherwise, it helped it.
That's great. What about you, Calvin?
Are you talking to me?
I have a question for you then, Calvin, too.
Oh, I'm listening.
Hey, Calvin.
Yes, sir.
Calvin, Rashad Brown wants to know who you honestly like in the Brandon Robinson versus Polana fight.
You said, say again, you said what like?
So Rashad Brown, the trainer of Brandon Robinson,
Yes, sir.
he wants to know who you really like, honestly, in that fight between B-Rob and Polana.
To be honest with you, man, me and Rashad talked a couple of times about this, and it depends on their game plan. I think Brandon Robinson has a really good chance of winning that fight, but he has to be willing to do the things me and Rashad talked about in the game plan.
But I would pick him if he comes that night like that. I'll pick B-Rob. No favoritism. I pick B-Rob. It's not anything bad against Kalvin or nothing like that, but I think he has a good chance of pulling it off.
Okay. And as we talk about that, who is it that you want to fight next?
Man, I want them all more. I know everybody says that stuff, man, but really, once I get back into this, man, I'm ready to start back where we ended off, man. And that's continue that track. I'm ready to get back on TV fights and stuff like that, man, and really showcase the world what we already know. That's the biggest thing, is that we have these skill sets, and a lot of people don't know about it, so I want to keep showing the world those skill sets.
And for Carlos, who do you want to fight next?
Oh man, if I can say a
Who
name,
would you like to fight?
I would like to fight any champ right now. I'm 126. I'll see them all week right now. So I really want to fight them. I was sparring all the time with Shakur Stevenson for his fight, and then Jesse Magdaleno. I was helping him in his training camp, but I don't really want to help them in training camp. I want to fight them. So
Right.
let's see what it comes up. Well, I will be ready. They know that.
Kalvin, have you ever seen Carlos fight?
I have not, man, but I did do some homework on this box rec, because I'm a homework type of person. He called me the professor times too, like my boy Mike. Shout out to Mike Fox. But I did my homework on Carlos, and I seen his record and stuff like that, man. I saw that he had a fight today also too, but I have not seen him fight, no sir.
Right. He's a very big 126 pounder and strong on top of that, you know.
I can tell.
Carlos, have you ever seen Kalvin fight?
No, not yet. But I'll see him today. I'll look on YouTube.
Yeah, you gotta go and check it out. You know, both of you guys are rising stars, and we're happy to have you guys as part of our team. And hopefully, we all can get back to boxing very soon. You know?
Marshall, I have a question for both of them. So why don't Carlos, you take this first? You know, boxer, I think everybody gets their style from different places, but a lot of people get their style because they emulate a certain fighter. And, you know, before I tell you who Marshall and I think you fight like, any fighter that you think that you fight like, or you particularly tried to emulate that fighter's style?
Well, I love Tito Trinidad style, and I love Juan Manuel Lopez too. That's why I always wanted to fight him when I was growing up. Man, I'm gonna fight him one day. And, you know, he was one of the trainers of, not the trainer, he helped in the gym in sparring to one of the guys that I sparred when I was fighting for the Puerto Rico champion. And then I beat them twice. And then I always saying like, you're next. When I go pro, you're next. But now he's just my friend and he retired. So.
Well, that's exactly who we think you fight like, Trinidad. You know, very strong.
Yeah.
Every punch has bad intention on it.
It's not just that. I mean, if you look at, I think I'm going to do this since I do the graphics for King's Promotions, but if you were to freeze frame you at the end of your jab or at the end of any of your punches, you would be in almost an identical position to Felix Trinidad, I think. The way, just the way your style is. I don't know.
That's an honor, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's maybe something that's trained specifically in Puerto Rico. I mean, I don't really think so based on all the fighters that I'm familiar with, but it's funny because when we were watching you in Harrisburg, you know, Marshall and I both said at the same time almost, hey, he looks like Felix Trinidad in the ring. But it's not just because you're a strong fighter and you have a lot of knockouts. It's like if you were to freeze frame you in the ring and put you next to Felix Trinidad, the stance is the same, the punch technique is the same. And so I was interesting to hear you say that. And Kalvin, who would it be for you?
That's a great question, Andrew, man. I pride myself to be able to adapt, man, and just kind of whatever fight I have lined up, whatever opponent I have lined up, that we kind of match the game plan to that opponent. But we always stay behind a really good, solid jab. I feel like we have really good head movement and catching shots. So I don't know, man. What do you guys think?
Me personally,
Yeah.
Jermaine Taylor.
Oh, snaps.
Seriously, that's what you have an awesome jab. And I don't personally think you used it enough against Palana, but you have a beautiful jab. And to me, that's one of your biggest assets. And Jermaine had a great jab. So that's you remind me of Jermaine Taylor a lot.
I'm not sure. I guess I'd have to go watch a couple Jermaine Taylor fights. I'm not sure to compare, like for me, I'm not sure that stuck out, but I agree 100% with Marshall that to me, you're a very classic boxer puncher with excellent punch technique and a great jab. And it seemed to me that in the fight with Gents, you kind of figured out in the last round or two that you just had to stay behind your jab and, come in behind it with combinations. And I felt like you won the last 2 rounds of that fight, but it seems like such an easy formula, but when you're in the ring with them, all that stuff goes out the window. I know it certainly did for Jamal when we fought him.
The hardest part about that jab is that he had such long range and reach, man. Like he'll jab and pull back at the same time and still make contact with your chin while he's pulling out and stuff, man.
Who do you, the fans, think that Kalvin, Rashad Brown, who do you think that Kalvin fights like? I'd like to hear it from you, the fan. Come on, Rashad Brown. I'd like to hear your input. These guys are lagging behind us here, But look, I mean, it's really, I think every fighter tries to emulate another fighter that was before their time. You know what I mean? And each one of you had to, like Carlos said, he looked up to Trinidad and Manuel, right? It was so he looked up to them. Who did you look up to, Kalvin?
That's crazy you say that, man. I used to have the Everlast magazines, and I remember seeing Kid Chocolate in the magazine. I remember seeing Jermaine Taylor in the magazine. But really, when I first started boxing, Roy Jones was my hero, man. I had my haircut like him. I had my left hand down to my hip like him, man. I had the swag like him, man. That was my favorite fighter right there.
Speaking of your haircut, someone said you need a haircut on this post too.
That's that Corona, man. That's that COVID-19 haircut,
Hey,
man.
that's why I'm wearing this.
Me too.
Man, letting it grow, man. Show my roots.
Mike Fox says that you have a good jab and you're good with good elusive moves. Kind of reminds me of Jermaine Taylor. That's what Mike Fox said.
Nice, man.
Yeah. So, and that's what I thought as well.
Yes,
and I think, like I said, every fighter emulates somebody to some extent or another. Because growing up, it's almost like going out on the basketball court. Oh, I want to be like Mike. I want to be like Mike. And so you try to do things that Mike did. And it's the same in the boxing ring. I think you watch that fighter so much that you try to emulate how they fought, how they worked behind the jab, how they stepped to the right, whatever the case is. And I think that's what it shows with you two guys. Rashad Brown also said Jermaine Taylor.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It must be the Arkansas thing. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's probably so. Marcus Rosa said Ricardo Mayorga.
The cigarette like a tube.
Oh, it's crazy. Someone had to be funny. Marcus is actually hating right now. He really is. He sent me, because I started a watch party, and he said, "Man, those questions are too easy. I can beat every one of them." So right now we have you as a winner. We have Mike Fox as a winner. When we get down to this, we're gonna have to do like a box off of some sort.
Yeah, let's do a tournament of champions, man. I want
Exactly.
Mike. I want 2, Mike. I want 2, baby.
You heard it, Mike. And then we're gonna have to do a losers bracket. So we'll probably end up doing Carlos against Alicia. They both fall on the same card, so there you go. But
I'm ready for it.
It's been great, guys. I don't know. I don't have much else. Just to keep training, stay in shape, because we never know when that call is going to come. Kalvin, I know you're doing well with the eye. Keep following the doctor's orders and just stay in shape, man. The eye. So he said in 4 more months you can actually spar again.
Yes, sir. Spar, fight, all that good stuff. Yes, sir.
All right. if I got to give you any suggestions, I'd say make sure you get yourself a headgear with the bar. You know,
Yes, sir.
just to play it safe. You know, the winning headgears are great. They're a little pricey, but they're the best out there. You know,
Yes,
and it's
sir.
well worth it. It's well worth it when it comes to your safety and your career. You're all you would be doing is investing in your career. And tell your rich manager just to go ahead out there and buy it. That's all.
Okay. I actually got my sponsor to take care of it already, man. I got it in the mail right now.
There you go. There you go. You know, you can't go wrong. Anything else there, Andrew?
No, it was a great show tonight. Thanks, guys, for coming on, and I don't have anything else.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Well,
Very happy to be here with you guys.
thanks,
Very
guys.
excited.
Take care. Take care.
All right.
God bless you. And we will be in touch. Stay tuned in so you can see who these winners are. And probably by June, we'll end up having a champions tournament of some sort, you know. And then Calvin, you already made that round, so you're in there, man.
There
You
you
know?
go, baby. Don't bet against the sauce, man. Remember that.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight.
Thanks, guys. Take care.